Hey guys, it's Glenda, and I popped in briefly, just to share a message about mindset. Because I believe that your mindset determines a lot about the level of success that you're going to be able to reach. In the Bible, there's a scripture from Proverbs 23:7, I believe. It says, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." And a lot of people have a hard time trying to understand what that means. But for me, it means as a man thinks, or whatever he thinks or believes, because once it gets into your heart, it becomes a belief. So as a man thinks or believes, that's what he becomes. So is he. That's what he becomes, is what he thinks and what he believes in his heart. So I believe that the way for you to change that mindset, and let's talk about what mindset is as well, because mindset is a set of beliefs that shape who you are or who you become. For that, you're looking at things that you believe, or you form beliefs about. They become who you are. And so therefore, your mindset determines the level of success, or how you act, or how you behave. So you have to work on personal development in terms of mindset. To me, the five senses that we have are sight, hearing, smell, touch, and taste. All help us to form a belief about something as to whether or not it's real, tangible, or just something that we're going to believe in. If we can feel it, touch it, taste it, hear it, see it, then we start to form beliefs about a thing. And that helps us to develop who we are. So I'm very much an advocate for personal development, and in particular, reading, because I think seeing, hearing are two of the strongest elements that we hold in terms of our senses that help us to develop who we are. And I'll give you a perfect example. Years ago, I can't remember the year, so I'll just say years ago, when I lived in Little Rock. We had moved to Little Rock, and I don't remember the house address, but we lived on a street called Labette Drive. For those of you from Little Rock, you probably know what part of Little Rock that is. I think it's in West Little Rock. But we had moved into a rent house there, and there was a storage room that was connected to the carport of the house that we were renting. And I was going into the storage room trying to see, was there space in there for me to store some things that I really didn't need to have in the house, and I needed a place to put them. So I went out to check out this storage area. And when I opened it up, apparently there was a little bit of roof damage, because there had been some rain damage inside of the storage area. But whomever had lived there, and I don't believe it was a person who lived there directly before us, but it may have been a person who owned the house at some point, they had never cleared that storage out. So there were a lot of books, and I was intrigued. I wanted to see what type of titles there were. I started going through the books, and I came across one in particular that caught my attention. And I believe the name of that book, I've read so many of them by this author since then, but I believe the name of that book was "If It's Meant to Be, It's Up to Me." And it was at a time in my life where we had pretty much lost everything, and was on our way to rebuilding our life. And so this book, of course, stuck out to me the most. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. I think at that time I was also looking for a job. And I had just had my daughter Tiffany, and she had some health condition issues that were pretty serious, and so I was trying to rethink what my life was going to be. So this book really stuck out to me. And even though the book was severely water damaged, and really smutty. It had a lot of mold in it, and I was just determined, though, that because of the title, it was by Robert Schuller. I forgot to mention the author. Robert Schuller wrote this book, Pastor Robert Schuller. And I went ahead and I started flipping through the pages of the book, and it just immediately drew me in. I read this entire book, mold and all, and I have to tell you something. It introduced me to the concept or the thought of possibility thinking. And I, myself, was not much of a risk taker. I probably did a lot of thinking, a lot of stinking thinking at that time, because I was going through so much. I won't even go into everything that was going on, but I was going through a lot at the time. So I had a lot of stinking thinking. I was not a risk taker. I'm still an analytical thinker, so I was always thinking through things, trying to determine what would be best for me and my family. And I wanted to play it safe, and I was beginning to think that all things weren't possible. I was going to have to take calculated risk to get us, to move forward. But this book opened my mind to so many possibilities. It was story after story of people who had some come to this company. I mean, not to this company, but this country as immigrants, and had very little money in their pocket, but they were able to turn their life around because of possibility thinking. They thought about what was possible instead of what they were facing, and it helped them tremendously. So this book actually helped me to start doing the same thing. And I watched my mindset shift into believing in myself and believing that I could do things. And I remember, as I said, I was looking for a job, and I remember writing a letter. It gave me the boldness to do something that I probably would not have done otherwise. It gave me the boldness to do something that I probably would not have done otherwise. I wrote a letter to the director of the Arkansas Department of Health, and I explained my situation to her and told her that I was looking for a job and I wanted to get into public health, which some of you may not realize, but my degree is actually in medical technology. And so healthcare has always been on the forefront of my thinking and my passion. It's always been a passion of mine to be in the healthcare industry. And in particular, I wanted at that time to pursue a career in public health. So after writing to her, surprisingly, she responded back to me and told me to get in touch with their HR department. And I was able to secure a position as a CLIA inspector. I actually inspected medical laboratories across the state of Arkansas for a period of time. And so I was able to get that job through that. So the shift in my mindset was what was able to catapult me forward to write that letter and get that job. And so from that point on, it left that impression in my mind of possibility, possibility, possibility. All things are possible through Christ. I was so on fire for possibility thinking. Even when I would find myself having negative thoughts about something, I would always go back to something I read in that book. And I've shared that book with so many people through the years. I went out and got a fresh copy that wasn't molded and water damaged. And I started sharing it with people. And one thing about it, though, but every time I would share the book, I never got the book back. So I've purchased a number of copies of that book, and I've shared it with a number of people. And then there's different versions of it under different titles, but it still has pretty much the same message. So I said all that to say, I believe reading is one of the top ways that you can help develop and change your mindset so that you can be more successful. So I try to find books that are going to build me up. I'm very big on edification, and I want to make sure that I put things in my mind and before my eyes that are going to help increase my knowledge and my aptitude. So, and as well as my attitude. So One of the books that I'm reading currently is a book by Eric Worre called GoPro. The subtitle for this book is 7 Steps to Becoming a Network Marketing Professional. And so I was referred to this book by a friend of mine that's here on Facebook, on social media. And she had told me, you know, this was one of the books that I should read. So I went ahead and purchased a book off Amazon, and I said, let me dive into it. So one thing about me is I like reading, but a lot of times with everything I have going on, I don't really have time to read. So I usually will read this book when I get into bed at night. And that's one way that I find to ease my mind and go to sleep at night, because, you know, my mind is always racing. And so I tire myself out by reading books, and then I fall off to sleep. But I read this book a little bit every night. Sometimes I try to do a chapter. Sometimes I forget about it, or I'm so tired I just don't feel like reading. But I'm a little over halfway through this one now, and I need to go ahead and finish it because I've been working on it for a minute. But this book has helped actually to confirm some things that I was already being taught. But it's kind of opened it up a little bit more for me. And so I'm really enjoying this read. There are other books that I'm also reading at this moment, but here in the agency that I'm in, you know, I sell life insurance. I'm with PHP Agency, and PHP makes a lot of publications available to us that also do the same thing. It helps to shift your mindset. You're learning the trade, you're learning the blueprint, you're learning different methods that will help advance you in your career as a life insurance agent. And so the book that I'm working on now is the PHP Playbook. I have the blueprint. I have the, I can't remember exactly the title of it, but there's a sales training manual. We also have a very thick book. I've pretty much been through that. So I'm like a sponge, and I'm always trying to soak up things because it helps me to build and to elevate my mind. So the playbook, I'm constantly in that. And this GoPro, I'm also into. There are other books, like I said. I've read a book on prospecting. Whatever it is that I'm interested in at that moment is generally what I kind of shift toward reading and purchasing books. And sometimes even beyond books, I'm online looking for information and purchasing courses and just doing different things, because I'm always trying to learn how to better myself and to shift my mindset. You know, when you get to be my age, sometimes it's a little harder to, you know, people say, oh, she's set in her ways. Child, I'm relearning stuff every day. That's just who I am. Because I don't believe, as long as my mind is able to grasp new things, I'm going to continue to introduce new things to it. So I'm constantly trying to develop my mind and shift my mindset in the direction that I want it to go. Because if I want to be successful, then I have to do the things that successful people do. And a lot of them share that information through books. So I do a lot of reading, whether it's online, through social media, as I said, and also through books. One thing I haven't been so great about is doing ebooks. Not ebooks, audiobooks. But that's something I want to get into, is listening more. Because I can pop those in the radio of my car and, you know, listen while I'm traveling. Even though sometimes my traveling is short, because I don't live that far from my day job. But, you know, every opportunity you get to feed your mind so that you can change your mindset, so that you can start believing things that elevate you to another level, those are things that you need to do. And so that's why I'm on here today. I just jumped on to kind of put that information in your ear and in your mind, and hope that it will help you to understand that whatever it is you're trying to do in life, whatever you're trying to become, make sure you feed it with books, opportunities, education, moments, talks, speakers. Get around people who are doing the same thing, like minds, and find what they're reading, find mentors, find out what they're reading and what they're doing to help elevate their thinking, and do that. But by all means, you can do this on your own, or you can do it with help from somebody else. But just make sure you change your mindset, you shift your mindset so that you can be successful at whatever it is that you choose to do. For me right now, it's life insurance. And I'm trying to learn everything. I am a disciple of money. I'm trying to learn everything I can about money, about life insurance, about investing, about credit, all of those things, because I want to be able to, first of all, use it for my advancement, but then I also want to be able to teach it to other people so that they can better themselves as well. So if any of you are interested in learning more about money and learning more about life insurance and financial literacy and how you can, leave generational wealth to your family, by all means, reach out to me, because I'd like to introduce you to some of the things, the concepts, the principles that I'm learning about money so that I can advance myself and my family so that we'll have a very bright future. So if you have any interest at all, please reach out to me and let's discuss some things. I can share some things with you, and I can introduce you to ways that will help you elevate your game. So give me a call, or reach out to me, or put a comment below, and I'll be happy to reach back out to you so that we can go ahead and elevate our game. All right? Have a good day.